Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations That Connect, the Speak Up Sis talk show for authors. And we are here for the New Year's Author Expo. I'm really excited about this because we had an amazing time with our holiday author showcase back before the Christmas holiday started. You all got an opportunity to meet some amazing self-published authors that are doing really well in their respective genres. And so we are running this back again to you all for the new year. There's no better way to start the new year for an author than sharing his or her new projects with you all. We're going to kick off this New Year Author Expo with a beautiful author. I had an opportunity to meet her. I want to say I met her in 2023. We were both at an event in ATL. She was vending. One of the speakers had invited me to be there, and we've been connected ever since. She also just happens to be a 2024 Speak Up Sis Awards recipient as well. And so I'm really happy to have her in this space and to introduce you all to her as an author. She's got some other wonderful things that she's doing with Speak Up Sis as well. But today you're going to get to meet her and hear about her new project. Her name is author Shaunda Thompson. Shaunda, how are you doing? And welcome to Conversations That Connect, the Speak Up Sis talk show for authors.
I'm doing wonderful, and thank you for having me, Angel.
Oh, most definitely. I'm really excited that we are in this space together. We have had opportunity to meet and to converse about the platform, about Speak Up Sis itself, but we don't talk a whole lot about you as an author. So this is going to be a really different conversation for the two of us, but I know we're going to have a really good, hearty, robust conversation today. So
Yes.
if you will, please, we're going to get started by you sharing with our audience a little bit about who you are in your day-to-day world.
Thank you. So, who is Shaunda Thompson? So, I would describe myself as a dreamer. I'm a storyteller, but really, I'm a firm believer in the power of resilience. I'm a self published author, as you had stated. I'm also the CEO of my own career coaching and image consulting company. I'm passionate about personal and professional growth. And I'm someone who's kind of walked through life storms. And in walking through life storms, I've kind of found the strength to keep going. My life has been shaped by lots of challenges, which we'll get into in a little bit. But those experiences have inspired me to kind of share my story and to help others find empowerment and hope within themselves. But really, at my core, I just really feel like I'm a woman who believes in the beauty of transformation and in pain and loss. I think there is beauty where you can come out on the other side. And it's in those hardest moments where we really find out who we really are. And then there's light and strength also within those moments, but it's just waiting to be discovered. So that's a little bit about who I am.
Listen, if I don't know anything else, I know about struggle. I know about struggle. I know about hard times. I know about those things. And whenever someone else comes into the space who is able to not just talk about the struggles, to talk about the issues, but to provide solutions for
Yes.
people who are going through, I love being able to have those conversations. So let's go ahead and greet some of the people who have shown up today. If you don't mind, I'd
Okay.
like to involve our viewers in the conversation. So we're going to greet them before we jump into
Okay.
why you decided to become an author, a self-published author at that. So hello, Latoya, Dr.
Hi.
She is always coming in the building and tagging folks, and we really appreciate that. Thank you all so
Thank
much for joining
you.
us today. I see that she has tagged a few people to come into the space, and as they join us here in the space, I will make sure to shout them out. So let's start with why you decided to become an author in the first place. Is writing something you've been doing since childhood? Is it new for you? What's your why and when did you start writing?
Yeah, so my why, so I'll give you the short answer and then I'll just come back around with it. But my why is writing is my way that I kind of process things that are going on in my life as well as my emotions. And it's a creative outlet for me as well. And so I was a published author at the age of 8. So when I was in the third grade, I entered a young authors contest at my school, and I wrote in a biography about my dad, who was my hero. And since then, I've just kept writing. My older sister Veronica, who's 3 years older than I am, she was a writer as well. We shared a room, and so growing up, we both loved to read. We both love to write, so I think I got some of it from her. But I really like to kind of immerse myself in literature and books, and just as I was when I was younger, I would write. I would make up these fictional stories, and because I'm a creative person, and so writing is just really a part of who I am. I journal every day. I keep my journals, and it's for me, it's almost therapeutic in a way to write as well. And I feel like we go through experiences in life not just for ourselves, but it's to have a testimony, and that what we've gone through can help someone else.
That is a long time to be writing
Yes,
at 8 years old. And it's
yes.
good that you had someone to help foster that in you. You had a reason to write, and
Mhm.
you had a sister, right, to kind
Yes.
of go along that road with you. I love when people say that they have been writing since childhood because nowadays children don't
No.
typically like to pen and paper write the way we did. But it really does lend itself to helping with mental health issues. If you find yourself in that place, like you said, journaling. I love that you said that you enjoy journaling because for me, journaling is therapeutic.
Yes.
Um, Writing books, even, is therapeutic. So I'm definitely glad to hear that you've been doing this for a while and that now you're beginning to share it as an adult. So, excuse me, when we
Mhm.
first met, I got a copy of an anthology. So, did you start out in the anthology world? Is this your first solo project? Talk to me about what made you go into anthology writing first, and then what kind of shifted to make you pivot to create your own solo project.
So yeah, so I did start out in the anthology world. So I've contributed to 6 anthologies. And when you are in the anthology world, you're limited to a certain word count. And each anthology that I was a part of, I felt like I had more to say. And when I initially contributed to my first anthology, I was so nervous because I have been writing for a long time, but now I'm sharing my thoughts with the world. So I think starting out in the anthology world was just a good like first step for me, which kind of led to me, writing my first solo book. But really, the push to write my own book came, I would say, probably. maybe a couple of years before my 50th birthday. So each decade, let me just back up. I'm a very reflective person anyway. And through writing, like I said, you can kind of process a lot of things. But I was entering 50. So this is like a new decade. This was a milestone birthday. And I would say for a couple of years, I was really um, just looking over my life and, seeing what I've overcome, looking at my goals, what have I accomplished? What else is there that I want to do? And in this new decade of 50, like, what is it that I want to accomplish? Um, I feel like I'm in a space in my life where I only want to do what's aligned with like my soul's work or my purpose. And looking back on everything that I've gone through, I felt like it was important to kind of share my story with other people that are kind of feeling stuck and want to move forward. I just wanted to provide just inspiration and empowerment to women. And I really felt at that stage of my life that, yeah, I have a lot to say, and I just wanted to share it with the world.
So I've never uh, participated in an anthology,
Hmm?
but do you think that participating in the anthology sort of prepared you for your solo project? Do you feel like you could have totally started with a solo project first? Do If you had to do it all over again, would you still do the anthologies prior to the solo projects?
I love that question. And I know where you're going with this, Angel. If I had to do it all over again, um, I probably would have done, excuse me, my first anthology. And then I think I would have wrote my solo book sooner, a little sooner
Yeah.
than what I did.
And I'm glad to hear you say that because I know there are people watching us who are interested in becoming authors. And
Yes.
there's so much information out there. I mean, all you have to do is just literally Google or YouTube. You can find all the information, but there's so many voices,
Yes.
and you don't really know which voices to listen to, right? And
Yes.
so I think it's a good thing for people who are thinking about stepping into this place to look at you as a successful author, as an accomplished author, as someone who has been in both arenas,
Yes.
to hear you say, yeah, it's okay to do an anthology. But you know
It
what?
is.
If it's okay to do a solo project as well and to not be afraid to step out there. So I am really excited about this solo project. I love seeing people do solo projects. That's just my thing. It's nice to put all the voices together, but like
Yes.
you said, you got so much more to say. It's like I only get
Yes.
3 pages, I only get 5 pages,
Yes.
but my what I have to say is so much more, full,
Yes.
and you it's harder to get the fullness of your entire story in just a few pages. So let's talk about your brand spanking new project, Just Breathe. And I love the title. And because of the periods, I said, okay, it's an acronym for something.
Yes.
So, how about you tell us a little bit about Just Breathe? Where'd you get this title from, if you will? And what does Breathe stand for?
Yeah. So when I started to go through my previous journals and kind of look at my life, and I was looking at what are like the patterns and themes of my life, of the successes and and failures. Um, these themes were kind of emerging. So breathe is belief, realignment, empowerment, actualization, thriving, harnessing, and elevation. So these kind of represent the steps that I took towards healing, towards embracing my strength, and kind of navigating my challenges.
Harnessing. You don't hear people use that word. So I'm going to jump to the end of breathe.
Mhm.
And can you just share a little bit about what you mean by and I'm not going to ask you to take us through because people need to purchase the book. If you want to know what all of the steps are, if you want to, get the explanation of all of the letters and breathe, then you're just going to have to purchase the book. But I would like to know, and I would like for you to share harness, because
Yeah,
how many times do you hear people
you don't hear
use
it.
harness in anything?
You don't. And I kind of like to be, I mean, we're all one of a kind, so I like to stand out and be different. So I'm glad that you are noticing like nobody really uses that word. So with breathe, it's a metaphor too. You know, I kind of likened it to breathing. So when you kind of think about when we breathe, we want like the maximum capacity of our lungs. And so with harnessing, if you think about it, it's using all of your power. So using all of your strengths, being strategic, and knowing that you have everything inside of you to be successful. So that's what harnessing means.
Okay, okay, it's a good word for it. You're gonna give us some SAT words as we learn how to breathe. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. We have a few more viewers in the room, so I would like to make sure that we address them and they're talking to us. Harold Betts thoughts. Hello, how you doing? She says that's awesome. Um, Shantae Quelliar, hello, how are you doing? She's speaking to us as well. She says, congratulations on your literary journey.
Thank
It is
you.
quite impressive to have now 7 pieces of writing under your belt. So,
Yes.
absolutely, congratulations to that.
Thank
And
you.
Latoya says, yes, I started in childhood as well. I'm telling you,
Like
we got to
mine.
get our young people back into a place where they are willing to put pen to paper or
Definitely.
fingers to keyboard or
Mhm.
whatever, however
Mhm.
they're choosing to do that. Danita Parker, hello, thank you for joining us. I
That's my
saw that
best
big smile
friend.
on your face. So this is one of your people.
That's my best friend. We've been best friends since first grade.
Well, hello, Danita.
Hi,
Did
Dana.
Danita Was she one of your beta readers?
She was. Yes, definitely. She, even before I even started the project. Oh, I don't want to get emotional. She's one of my
Oh, you can
biggest
get emotional. We like emotion here.
Dana's one of my biggest cheerleaders. Even when I came to her with like the idea of writing my book and then almost kind of talking myself out of it, she's always the one that kind of believes in me, and she believes in me when I don't believe in myself sometimes. So
Don't we need friends like that?
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We
I'm
really
so
do.
blessed to have had her in my life since we were 6 years old.
Wow. So I'm gonna throw her name right on back up there because that is so special, especially when you're doing something like writing. First thing, you're pouring yourself on the pages. I don't think
Yes.
people realize when they are extremely critical of
Mhm.
what they read that someone has literally placed themselves on the pages for whomever who picks up the book to judge.
Yes. Yes. Can I add
And
on? Go ahead.
absolutely, go ahead.
One thing I want to add, I definitely agree with you when you're writing about your life experiences. I think one thing that's important, particularly when you talk about like your trauma or your challenges, I wrote this with the intention of I'm going to write it and I'm going to leave it on the page. Like there are things that have happened to me. I don't take a like victim mentality. These are things that have happened to me or in my life. And I think that there's a lot of power in kind of addressing things. And when you write it, I just left it on the page. So I think that's important to share with people.
What are you expecting your readers to take from this piece of work? Like if there's one thing that you want to ensure that folks walk away from when they put your book down, what would that be?
I would say the one takeaway I want readers to have is that they're stronger than they think, even in their darkest moments.
Ugh. And how many of us don't realize that? We don't realize that when you are in a place of weeping, sobbing,
Mhm, mhm,
when you
mhm.
are sobbing, when you are all alone by yourself, can't figure it out, don't know what's going to happen. And then the next day you get up and you continue doing whatever it is that you need to do. And you don't realize that in those moments,
Right,
like that's a
right.
strong place
It
because
is very strong.
you got up the next day, you kept
Yes.
moving, you kept
Yeah.
doing, you can look back to
Mhm.
last month and go, gosh, well, I guess I did make it,
Yeah. And
right?
you can reclaim your power through the pain.
Absolutely.
You can
Absolutely.
reclaim it.
So is Just Breathe written in the style of a memoir? Is it written in the style of a devotional or journal? Is it a workbook? Is it a bit of all of the above? What can our viewing audience expect in terms of genre?
For genres, I would put it in, it's like a memoir slash self-help,
Okay.
because the book is set up with I explain, what each letter means, and then I give a story of or from like my previous clients how they've like utilized that specific word in their life, and then I tell my personal story, and then I have coaching questions, and then I have journal prompts through each chapter. And then each chapter also starts with a Bible verse because I felt that I'm a Christian, I'm a woman of faith, and I felt that it was important for readers to know what God says about you, what God says about pain, or what God says about struggle, or what God says about success. So I thought it was very important for readers to know that. So I feel readers are getting all of it, a devotion, it's part memoir, and part self-help because I have the journal prompts and well as the coaching questions to move readers forward. I intentionally, because I like to be different, Angel, I intentionally did not put a table of contents in the book. That was very intentional, because I wanted readers, they're forced to start at the beginning. Because I think a lot of times when we're going through or we're trying to come out on the other side, or when we're trying to deal with ourselves, we try to take shortcuts.
Mhm.
And there's no shortcuts in this book. You're going to start at the beginning and you're going to work through some things, and things are going to build on each other. So there's no shortcuts in the book.
I like that. I never really thought about the impact having a table of contents has or not having the table of contents. But you're absolutely right, because if I know that Just Breathe is an acronym and I can look at the table of contents and see what each letter represents and where to find it, I may be tempted to go to where I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I need the help. Or
Mm-hmm.
like the same way, like what I just did. I said, oh,
You just gonna go to
it's
harness.
like So I'm gonna go straight there. Why? Because
Mhm.
I mean, what does that even mean to my life, right?
Mhm.
So I like that you left off the table of contents. It really does force the reader to just start at the beginning. So
Yes.
I really like that. Absolutely. So your friend says you have been an inspiration to her. I bet. I'm sure the two of you inspire each other.
We do. We
And
do.
that's what good friendships do. Absolutely. Harold Best thought she said it's okay. Probably when you were shedding a tear too. She's telling you it's okay. We all need people in our corner, even though we all don't have those people. I think it's important that that we find those people. I believe the Lord has somebody for all of us. All of
Yes.
us we all have at least one person who will be our PA rally person, who will be there to just love on us, encourage us. I don't believe that person is necessarily an accountability partner. I think folks need to know the difference, right?
Yes.
They can be, but no, just someone who supports you, loves you, is there
Mhm.
without judgment or anything of that nature. We all need
Yes.
someone like that. Harold Bed's thought says, I get that. You write it and leave it there. That's the therapeutic part of it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe those of us who write therapeutically don't release or publish until we've dealt with the thing, until
Yes.
there's some healing, right?
Very
Until
important.
that's no longer what you're suffering with
Yes.
or suffering through. Yeah.
Definitely.
Tiana, hello, sis. Tiana says not having a table of contents is a beautiful way to say come along for a ride. Oh, that's nice.
Yes. I like that.
Yes, absolutely. Stop trying to drive this
Yes. Start at
and
the beginning.
come along for the ride at the
Yes.
very, very beginning. So let's talk about when people can access this book, how they are able to access the book, where can they go if they want to purchase Just Breathe.
Yes, so you can purchase Just Breathe at a few places. So one on the Speak Up Sis bookshelf. Yay. You can also go to barnesandnoble.com, or you can order from my website, which is www.shaundathompson.com. And I have a Shaunda Writes tab. And you can click on that tab and you can order Just Breathe there. So there's three places where you can order.
All right. Perfect. You all already know, if you are familiar with Speak Up Sis Bookshelf, all of our authors are listed on Speak Up Sis Bookshelf at speakupsis.com/bookshelf. And if you are new to Speak Up Sis Bookshelf, we do not take any coins from our authors. By going to the bookshelf, it simply gives you a niche place to be able to access that book. You know, if you go to the larger platforms, you have to know how to spell it exactly. You got to know her name. You got to wade through some, and sometimes you can put your name in there and other people's stuff will
Right.
come up. So when you go to Speak Up Sis Bookshelf, you will see the cover of the book and you click on it, and it will take you to where Shaunda wants you to purchase first. And I believe her book is linked directly to her website for you to be
Yes.
able to purchase it directly from her. So,
Yes.
yes, you can go into all the other places, but just know if you go to Speak Up Sis Bookshelf, it's going to lead you to exactly where she wants you to purchase her book from primarily. But of course, you can go to the other places if it's easier for you to access. Most definitely. We just want you to purchase the book. I mean, we want you to read the book. We want you to
Yes.
love the book. And we want
Yes.
you to review the book. This is
Yes.
the part
Please.
of our show where I really, really go a little extra with our viewers and our listeners, because it's important for people to know that purchasing the book is great. but we really want you to read our work.
Yes.
It's in the reading of the work that is going to impact you. And once you're impacted, you are going to talk about the book. And when
Yes.
you talk about the book, you're going to encourage other people to purchase the book so they can be impacted by the book as well. But we also need you to review the book. I want you to think about how you purchase things. Almost all of us now are conditioned to reading the reviews. I mean, I don't know anybody who just buys things offline these days who do not read the reviews. And so your review helps other people to decide if they want to purchase that book as well. It's got a beautiful cover, it looks professional, the description is great, but the reviews really help to sell the book to potential readers. So I'm going to ask you, once you purchase the book, to please read it and then give her an honest review. Okay.
Please.
Um, do you want to add to that? Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I
Did I
thought
leave
you
anything
were.
out?
No, you didn't leave anything out, but please, I would be so appreciative of an honest review.
Absolutely. Honest reviews. Harold Bed's thought says, I like the idea of no table of contents. I think you may have started something.
I
Uh,
started a new trend.
I think we may see some books with without table of contents. I listen, I totally get it. I love the idea as well. Danita says definitely will be reading this and reviewing. Yes, I will too. That's the beauty of Speak Up Sis Bookshelf. It's not just a space for you to come on, do an interview, and we don't ever see you again, but we constantly support what it is that you do as an author. And I personally purchased the books on the bookshelf and placed them on our physical brick and mortar bookshelf shelves as well, so that people who come into the empowerment center are able to read our Speak Up Sis Bookshelf authors books as well. So as soon as, and I've got a long queue, but as soon as I get to it, I will definitely be making sure that I write a review as well. Before we
Okay.
leave, I have to tell everybody that you are also one of our newest columnists for the
Yes.
Speak Up Sis magazine. And I think it's just a beautiful idea, the column. One, because I didn't think of it myself, and for and for you to even consider doing it, it's definitely an honor. But do you mind sharing with everyone what you're going to be doing and what they can look forward to?
Yes. So my column is Melanin in the Margins. And so I will be reviewing books that are on the Speak Up Sis bookshelf. As a self-published author, I think there's so many gems out there that people do not know about. And because I love to read, it's just kind of giving voice and awareness to all these other wonderful authors out there. So I've submitted my first review. And I think going forward, I'm going to do multiple books. Maybe there may be a theme around it or something. I'm not sure, but there's just so many good books out there by self published authors that the world needs to know about. So thank you for going with this crazy idea of having the book review column in Speak Up Sis magazine.
Why didn't I even think of it before? I mean, we had a whole bookshelf.
You do so
So
much, Angel. Your organization does so many other things.
so I just want to say thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Just Breathe being on the bookshelf. I'm looking forward to reading Just Breathe as a part of our new Chit Chatting Books book club, which will read books that
Yay.
are listed. Yes, I've got part of the list because I didn't want to get all 12, considering we may be getting some, not maybe, but I'm sure we're going to be getting more authors. So I didn't want to get the whole year already. So
Right.
I do have a few of the books that we're going to read and I left some space open for the possibility of some of our newer authors on the bookshelf being included. But we're definitely going to be reading Just Breed so that we
Yay.
can, yeah, so we can be coached and we can get some of the word. We can learn about some hard things. We can harness all of our greatness, all the
Yes.
things. So I'm looking forward to the book being on the bookshelf and actually being one of the books that we're going to read for Chit Chatting Books. So that's what's up. Is there anything else that you feel like you need to say, or you just have a desire to say about Just Breathe?
Yeah. So I think you had asked me earlier, like, what is the one big takeaway? So I said that you're stronger than you think, even in the darkest moments. But I think with this book, I hope that readers will also go away with that we know life be life in. But really, I think when you read my story and then when you read some of my former clients' stories, that really you have to know that the power lies really within you to thrive, for you to make a pivot, and for you to rise above your challenges. So I hope that you get some strength and encouragement from my story.
I'm talking and my mic is off.
I was like,
I was saying that I'm sure people are going to be impacted by it. Just talking to you gives you a feeling of just wanting to breathe. You have a calm about you that just, you're like, okay, I'm just going to listen. So I'm sure that everyone who decides to read this, and I have actually, because you submitted, in order for us to review, I actually have had an opportunity to take a look at it, not read the full thing. So I know it is impactful. And my
thank
prayer is
you.
that people will give your work a shot. That is one of the things that Speak Up Sis Bookshelf was created for, is for people to know
Yes.
that everyday writers who self-publish have something valuable to say. What we have to say is an asset and
Yes.
can be a precious gem, just like any other book that's traditionally published or put out into the marketplace by the renowned or by celebrities. Um, I would say many works that I've read are far better than some of the more popular works. So
Mhm.
I would like for you all who are watching live, or those of you who may catch this on the replay, to know that this is a quality piece of work. It's going to positively impact your walk, and pick up the book. Give it a
Yes.
try. I
Pick up the
I
book.
I believe that you will be pleasantly surprised. So thank you so much. I always give my guests the final word, and I ask that you leave our viewers with something encouraging, inspiring, motivational, whatever it is that you would like to say to them.
What I would like to leave the your audience with is that healing's a journey. It's not a destination, and that every step that you take, no matter how big or how small the step is, it's a step towards reclaiming your power and finding peace. So hopefully, again, you're inspired by my story, but I also want readers to start to embrace their story and believe in their resilience and their perseverance and know that they're never alone in their path of growing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shaunda, I want to say thank you so much for being a part of the New Year Author Expo. And I think this is a good first day conversation. We're gonna harness the power and the strength and all the
Yes.
good stuff that we have inside of us, and we're going to temper the storms. and we're going to get
Yes.
through them and get through them well.
Amen.
I appreciate you and
Amen.
every single one who tuned in today. I want to say thank you so much for watching Conversations That Connect. Make sure that you connect with our guest author, Shaunda Thompson. Grab a copy of Just Breathe, her latest title, and keep on the lookout for her. She's doing some amazing things, and we're going to support all the beautiful things that she is doing and that she is yet to do. So thank you so much. I appreciate
Yeah.
you, and you all have an amazing day. And don't forget to open up your mouth and speak up.